It's Bob. He's back. Bit of a flurry on Bob, but I did promise you that. Hopefully you're finding this stuff interesting. Yeah, apologies in the beginning of this episode, partly because I've had a bad haircut and I've got hat hair. I think that's the right word. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, not my hair, but this kind of content, give me a good old thumbs up. Subscribe, hit the old dingy bell thing on the end there, because all of these things I'm led to believe help the algorithms in YouTube. Don't know if they do, don't know if they don't. Anyway, the subscriber count's climbing, so thank you to all of those that have subscribed or do watch my content. If you want to give me a thumbs down, fill your boots. If you want to buy me a pint, it's down here somewhere. Little PayPal me link, or support the channel. You don't absolutely have to buy me a pint. There's many other ways you can support the channel. I'm constantly in need of little bits and bobs and haircuts. It grows at work, so I get it cut at work. No, seriously, things like microphones and cameras and shit like that. I tend to spend the money on that doesn't get spent on beer. Treating my wife sometimes just to watch me drink a beer. Anyway, I'm rambling now. If you want to contact me, Church House Classics, it's all one word at gmail.com. I've also got a website, Church House Classics, still all one word.co.uk. But my kind of figurehead really is the YouTube channel. Really is where all my communication and stuff goes in. Enjoy the video. I did mean to add to that, I'm sorry folks, I've had a stinking cold last week and it's gone to the araldite stage, and if you know what araldite is, you'll know what that's like when you're trying to blow it out of your face. So I'm sounding a bit nasal, so apologies for that. If you don't like me sniffing all the time, you're going to have to turn the volume down, because I just can't blow any more of this stuff out of my face. I really can't. But yes, enjoy the video. Just getting all this stuff off the inner sill, and I think it's just transport paint, to be honest. It comes off fairly easily with the prep wheel. It might be powder coat, I don't know. I don't care whether it's powder coat or not. It's coming off the inside edges. The outside edges we'll deal with when it gets grip blasted, but the inside edges is coming off, because then I'll zinc prime it and I know exactly what I'm dealing with, and I'll be able to kind of coat the insides of the box sections nicely. This stuff has already got kind of a zinc coating on it anyway. But this black paint on here, I wasn't happy with it, so it's coming off. I think I might have said it's coming off. It does come off quite easily. But okay, the angle grinder makes a bit of noise, and I probably should have a dust mask on, because this shit probably is not very good in my lungs. But I'm upwind of it. Anyway, I thought I'd just show you this shit and what's going on with it. Sticky shit. There you go. But here, this big bastard, some of you will recognise it, is the crossmember that goes underneath the gearbox. Now this one itself is quite challenged. It's not as beautiful as I thought it was first, because I knew about these bits up here. But when I'm starting to dig in, it's actually starting to get a bit more crusty around this top edge. Now, excuse me, as far as I can see, this piece here is just a retro kind of bit that's kind of welded on, so I'm just going to re-weld that back on again. What I'll do, clean the rest of it up, establish the extent of the crap. There's a lot of sand on it. You can see I've done the underside. While it's clean and smooth, it's got quite bad dents on it, so we're going to have to get the slide hammer in there, I think, to see if we can try and straighten that out to a certain extent. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but then, I think this thing's been over a few rocks. Luckily, none of those rock dents, none of these dents seem to have affected the chassis in any way whatsoever. Just this cross member. So I'll get on with this, and then, So, the tool of choice today is going to be the noisy angle grinder, and the noisier, even noisier needle scaler. This fella is absolutely brilliant, I love it. It is the business. Right, so let's get some air lined up, and I'm going to really go over some of these edges down here. What I'm doing is just getting the worst of the surface rust and then going over with a scraper. When this attacks these areas here, like this, you're going to see quite a lot of metal will just disappear. And while this is brutal, this device here, while it's brutal, at the end of the day, if it doesn't survive this, then it ain't going to survive the welder. It really isn't. So I'm not really kind of that sort of precious when it comes to using this. Yes, it makes a lot of noise, but I do it in brief, short spurts, and really just use it where I know there is rust to see how weak that rust is. I mean, even just stabbing it with this thing is just finding a world of pain. It could well be, with this piece here, I might need to cut the top, or cut access in the top here, and bash it back down again so it goes straight. We'll see. Big old storms come in. They did threaten us. It's going to be a bit on the old stormy side. Horizontal rain, gotta love it. Anyway, I'm time-lapsing this, but I thought I might just do a quick windy introduction. I'm pretty sure we're going to find this doesn't work, but effectively cutting out the sections and welding in a new section. What I'm doing though is leaving the section below this angled bit open, because it gives somewhere for the water and the shit to drain. There's a drain hole right on the bottom of this thing, which I'm going to, for fuck's sake. I mean, look at it, I'm getting wet in here. Crying out loud. It's going to be like this till Saturday, apparently. Nice. Yes. As I was saying, etc., etc., etc. Okay, that's welded up those two end plates there. I ended up doing this in two chunks. It was just, oh, I can't be arsed. Anyway, that's it. That's those two bits done. What I need to do now, that's still warm, that bit there. Ooh, that is very warm. Perhaps I should leave that bit of wire on there until, ouch, ouch, ouch. No, it's off now. Right, now what I need to do here is deal with this dented area on the base, which you can see has been over quite a big old rock there, and I think what I'm actually going to do is just going to slice it along here, along there. There we go. That's out. Bit of sand in there, but nothing particularly serious. I mean, I'll look through the ends anyway. Now, of course I've got warm welds on here now. That was that way round, wasn't it? So let's put a line and a line, just so we know which way round it went. I'll do it on the vise. Let's go to the vise. We'll try first of all crushing on the vise and see what happens. Can you see the vise? You can see the vise. So let me just see first of all if I can just crush these out. Sometimes you can, but it might warp the panel too much. Because by doing it like this, you see, what I'm doing is I'm controlling where the metal is squeezing to. Oh, fuck me. I'd never have done this with the panel in place. Right. Right, it's getting there, but you can see what's happened now is we've now got a very distinct dish in here. So we'll try first of all squeezing in the middle, percussing from the top. Oops. hear the tone of it change as it straightens itself. Right, we're going to see what that looks like. I just noticed there's another fucking dent there. That one might just have to stay there as a bit of history. You can't make these things perfect. Oh, fuck my boots. I'd say that's fucking beautiful. Too much swearing, Richard, but otherwise, that is absolutely cat's arse. Now, this is quite thick steel, so what I'm probably going to do is just run the flap disc over the edges so that I can get decent purchase when I come to welding. This edge here, the side rails are splayed up a little bit, so just need a little bit of dressing just so I get things lined up. It'll do. It will do. Right, let's get Mr. Flappy. Let's get welding. Let's get Welding. Where's my magnet gone? There he is. Little low spot down there, but that's because there was a big crease in it, like that one and like that one. It'll do. It's damn sight better than it was. As far as I'm concerned, that's that done. So you can see the dent is largely out of the bottom of that. Butt welded all the way around. Slightly skim of filler will actually just see the welds a bit smoother than they are, but to be honest, if I just want to put the glue paint on it, you won't be able to see anything anyway. That's the end of that. That's nice wide fan. Yeah, that's working. Right, that can go down there. That can go on there. Filter, paint in more. Down. Less sniffly today. Sorry about that, folks. It was just, spend your life sniffing. Just disgusting, I know. Anyway, wearing gloves because just, I don't know how clean my hands are. That can go in there now. Top can go on. Mask can go on, and I'll shut up talking now because you won't understand me anyway. I can paint all over mask now. Just about finished the welding on this bulkhead now. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's all there, it's all straight. Done all the little little bits and bobs that needed doing in there. Dressed back most of the welds that need to be dressed back. I need to lob some paint on it, but I really want to get this back on the chassis now so I can start working on the side frames. The other thing I've done, I've put the gearbox crossmember in here. It's an old trolley jack. So I had a trolley jack, my Range Rover fell off years and years ago. Never ever chuck these things out, they're always useful. Even that right now is useful because it sprays the chassis just enough that I can get that in there. Now it's in there, of course I can knock it out. Like that. In. Ski. Oh yes. Right, so that's done that. It's just the middle part out of a trolley jack if you're going to drift. So that can go back on the shelf. Thank you, Mr. Trolley Jack. Right, let's get this bulkhead back on now, I suppose. We're getting somewhere. It might appear, anyway. Right, okay. You see I've welded these on as well. Did think about putting the strengthening up here, but to be honest, that has put so much rigidity into the footwell down there, and it sits on top of the sill anyway, so I think it'll probably be good enough. Yes, I think so. Right, getting on with it. Time for a bit of action on this side frame. So this is the passenger side frame. What I'm basically doing is I'm going to take this thing back to factory, but because I'm replacing this whole side curtain and the side floor and the side wheel arch and everything, I'm just going through drilling out each of the spot welds on here. I'll work right the way up this edge here with a view to removing this piece complete. I'm going to cut through this weld up here, which is where it was kind of butchered, leaving me with B post, A post, top frame. Make it a lot easier to handle. I will end up making another one of these. This is the rear seat support, but obviously just want to get it off the car to start off with. The rest of the stuff as it stands right now, I'm happy enough with, but just want to try and make the side frame a little bit more easy to manage. Then when it comes to things like this, I don't particularly want to replace this bit here, but it might just end up that way because I'm going to end up cutting a fair amount off this in order to get rid of all this grot. And on the other side, you've seen that already, it's not beautiful. So I already had started just drilling spot welds and so forth here, but you're going to get some more spot weld action along here. And really it's just a case of uncovering the spot welds using the old needle file. You can see one there. There's another one up here. And once all the spot welds are out, then it just panel should come off, shouldn't it? Right, let's put you over here and so you can see what's going on, I reckon. Blooming cold today as well. Right, okay. This B post here, this is what I was doing yesterday. So I've taken all these spot welds off along this edge here. The actual B post itself, although it's got some surface rust down here, is actually in pretty good shape. Let me just flip him over, which I can more or less do now one-handed. All this relief edge down here, all this is clean. Okay, there's a little bit of pigeon snot there where previous owners messed around with it. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut here and here so I can replace this panel in here. There's a reinforcing piece here, which is what the edge of the seats butts up against. So the edge of this piece here butts up against. And it goes against that edge there. So it gives me an area, gives me a baseline for exactly what should be, because that piece, talking bollocks, Richard, this piece here, that edge there, goes along here. Okay, and this reinforcing piece in here, which you can see, went up about another inch, half inch, and spot welded onto the back of it. Just gives it a nice solid area to locate onto. Alright, so by cutting this chunk out here, I get rid of all this gibbonry. I can flat back those welds there. That's where the top of the rear seat mount went to. That's all fairly straightforward. This bit is what I'm going to work on today. Sorry, I've got the D-post there as well. This is what I'm going to work on today. So I think what I'm going to do here is cut back anything that's rotten. I want to try and retain as much of this panel as I possibly can. First, it's got the beaded edge along it that the rubber goes into. And secondly, it's just nice and original. I don't see the point of replacing the whole panel for the sake of replacing the whole panel. Look at me, lifting this panel up now. Now, let's... there we go. On this side, it's actually not as horrible as it actually looks. The reason being is this piece of flat here, I'll just replace that, brand new steel throughout. I've got the metal work for the tubes here. I'm going to replace this piece in here, just replace in there. That's all fairly solid. On the inside and the outside, just a little bit of rust at the bottom edge. And I think I'll be able to treat that. You can see in here the way it's all kind of, the way the structure goes together. And this piece on the outside, just an L section, or Z section, because it goes and then out to here. I think that'll work. That's today's job. We'll do the A-post today. In the freezing cold, shitty weather. And then once that's done, once that's done, then I'll be able to get it bolted up to the bulkhead here and start working on the other side, which is patiently waiting over there. This bit is crap, but I'm going to take a profile for this top edge along here. I want the seatbelt mount out of it as well. Take a profile along that edge there and just get something made up. Oh, I also need the rear seat, so I need that piece. I need the seat belt mount off that. The rest of it, scrap. It's astonishingly light once you take those bits off. There's no weight to it at all. It weighed 3 kilos, I don't know. Maybe it weighs a bit more than that. Maybe I'm superhuman, I don't know. Once I've got the A and the B post fixed into place, then I'm going to work out what I'm going to do with this top rail. What I might end up doing is very much like I did with the chassis. I cut along here and do a zigzag splice, so I know that it's absolutely on the right plane, rather than undoing the welds here and here. Just zigzag it in. And I think it might just work. You never know. It's got to be worth a go, isn't it? Let's see if there's a rainbow. Yes, there is a rainbow. It's a horrible state. Right, I'm going to mount you up and then I'm going to time lapse what I'm doing here. But I think we might start with the needle scaler. Just really see what is crap here and what is savable, and drill this 3 pot rivets out here, and that panel can come off. That's where the rear wing, sorry, the front wing, the rear edge of the front wing screws on there. Ta-da! Right, I've not welded in the box section, not put the tubes in yet for the door mount, but I wanted to get it on the car so I could check that it wasn't too badly heat damaged. There's a fair amount of kind of shrinking I need to do on this piece here, but I'll do that when it comes off again. So lining it up here, lined it up on the bolt holes, lined it up in relation to it going straight onto the sill down here, lined it up at the B post, which is absolutely where it needs to be. Then measured from the rail here down to the top of the sill, spot on, absolutely spot on, first effort. I need to tidy up some of these welds. I'm going to have to get the die grinder out to do some of these welds, I think. But yes, it will look good. So I've used a pretty solid old lump of steel there in order to do that. Yeah, I think that's a step forward, isn't it? Well, I think it is anyway. As you can see, I did the repair for the tiny little piece up around the top hinge. Did that first, and I've just got a straightforward box section to fix for the rest of it. Just makes life a little bit easier. And again, a lot of welds to grind back here, but you know, it'll happen. Basically, this has saved me having to kind of chop it off, mess around with this, because the actual repair panel itself for the bottom of the A-post isn't actually that expensive, but it's all this shit here. It starts becoming an absolute and utter balls ache, and I thought I'd do it slightly differently this time around, and to be honest, I spent, what time is it now? Fucking, if I bang myself on that door one more time. Well, 4:30, I started out here at, God knows, I think it's 1:30. So it's been 3 hours to get that stripped out where it is. Quite a leisurely 3 hours, I'll be honest. Not a billable 3 hours. But the key thing here is that we've got that lined up. Now, if I was to mount the other, if I was to put the other side on, I'd want to see the windscreen header rail meet up at the top. Then I know that everything is absolutely spot on in alignment. And I have got a header rail in there. So that will be something that I will do before I finish off welding this thing up. In fact, what I might do, that's not far off there, you see. That just wants trimming off a tiny bit, and then I can do the A post closing section, weld the B post on, and then once it's all welded onto the sill, then I can start messing around with the side curtain, arch, rear floor. But before I get too far engaged on that, I want to sort the goalpost out. Even if it's just a case of welding the goalpost, damaged goalpost, onto the new crossmember that I've got. Ta-da! It's got a door roll. And the reason it's so low, of course, is because I ain't got no springs on it. Don't have to make life easier. Top tip. Don't put the springs on until you need to. A lot easier lifting things around. Once it's welded on, of course, I could always even hook the original door up and just check it fits the aperture before I go absolutely berserk on this. But I've got no reason to believe that this is not exactly as it should be. Happy with it. Dog barking. Right, bit of a clear up now, I think.